The echoes of tomorrow and the journey begins, the haunting. The days following her first session in Echo felt surreal, as if Arya was caught between two worlds, the vividness of her memories and the shadows of uncertainty that loomed over her quest. Each recollection swirled in her mind, intertwining joy with a haunting realization that something profound lay beneath the surface of her sister's disappearance. Determined to dig deeper, Arya scheduled another session, ready to confront the complexities of her past head-on. Today, she entered the facility with a newfound sense of purpose. She had glimpsed fragments of Lila's life, but those fleeting visions only fueled her desire to uncover the truth. As she settled into the pod for her second journey, she focused on her intention, to better understand not only her relationship with Lila, but the circumstances surrounding her sister's disappearance from their lives. A deep dive into memories. Center yourself in focus. The voice guided her gently as the neural interface activated. What memory do you wish to explore today? Arya closed her eyes and conjured the image of Lila, recalling the last summer they spent together. The joy that was tightly woven with an undercurrent of concern. She felt a swirl of emotion as she thought of that night, a pivotal moment forever etched in her mind. As the world around her faded, Arya found herself in the familiar backyard of their childhood home, bathed in the golden light of sunset. The vibrant hues of summer wrapped around her like a warm embrace, and there, sitting on the grass, was Lila, sketching in her notebook. "Arya, come look at this." Lila beamed, showing her the intricate drawing of their oak tree, robust and steady, a symbol of their childhood and everything they had hoped for. Arya felt a rush of nostalgia. "You always brought it to life. It looks amazing, Lila." "Thanks. I wish we could capture all our adventures like this," Lila replied, her voice tinged with an uncharacteristic sadness. "Why don't we?" Arya suggested playfully. "Let's go on our adventure right now. We can climb to the top of that tree, and then we'll build a fort." Lila's smile faltered momentarily, her eyes drifting as if searching for something hidden. "Yeah, maybe we should," she murmured, but the light in her eyes dimmed. The spark of fear. As they climbed the tree together, laughter dancing in the air, Arya found joy in every heartbeat, but creeping unease settled in the back of her mind. What lingered behind Lila's smile? From the treetop, they could see the vastness of their neighborhood, the sun setting like a golden globe on the horizon. "Do you ever wonder what's out there? What else is waiting for us?" Arya mused, glancing at Lila. "Sometimes," Lila replied, her gaze distant. "But I feel like I have to protect what we have here. It's safe." "Safe?" Arya laughed gently. "But there's so much we can discover. We'll be fine." The sky turned hues of dawn, and with each passing moment, Arya sensed her sister's apprehension deepening. "Promise me you won't forget. No matter what changes, we'll always find our way back to each other," Lila instructed, her expression solemn. "Of course. We're a team, Lila." Arya laughed, but something in Lila's voice rang a warning bell in her heart. Suddenly, a rustle in the bushes drew their attention, a fleeting shadow darting past, a stark reminder that the world outside their backyard wasn't as innocent as their laughter suggested. The reveal. "Let's head back down," Arya suggested, the thrill of adventure now tinged with caution. But as they descended, young Arya's enthusiasm dimmed. She felt an inexplicable gravity pulling at her sister, an invisible thread that whispered of impending change. The scene faded, blurring around the edges, and soon Arya was returned to the pod, breathless and shaken. "What did I just witness?" she murmured, urging herself to process the memory. The echoes of Lila's premonition hung heavy in the air, her instinctive need to protect Arya from an unknown danger. Confronting the channels of loss, determined to understand, Arya delved into research after her session, investigating data on Echo's memory manipulation capabilities and exploring the psychological implications of memory alteration. She began to uncover distressing accounts of users who had experienced severe emotional fallout after revisiting certain pasts. Arya realized that Echo's technology, while promising connection and healing, also posed risks, especially for those already grappling with loss. She needed deeper insight into the effects of the technology, particularly in the wake of Lila's own troubling insights. In her relentless pursuit of understanding, She reached out to a support group for families affected by memory manipulation, those struggling with the loss of a loved one, and grappling with the consequences of technology that alter perceptions of reality. One evening, she joined a video call with a group, frightened yet resolute. As participants shared their stories, Arya felt a kinship develop, a bond forged through mutual experiences of pain and hope. Each narrative illuminated the personal challenges faced in a society driven by technological evolution without pause for empathy. Memory should remind us of our loved ones, not distort who they were. One person said as tears glistened in their eyes, "I feel like I can't even trust my own mind anymore." Arya's heart ached, recognizing the fear lurking within them. Much like Lila's warning, in each story, she found a reflection of her own journey, propelling her to dig deeper, building connections. Inspired by these powerful voices, Arya turned her journal into a blog, sharing both her experiences and the stories of others. The blog began to draw attention, with readers resonating with the shared vulnerabilities and victories in confronting the past. Echoes of Memory, Honoring the Unseen, she titled it, a space for community, storytelling, and healing. With each post, she felt empowered, brave enough to share her own journey in hopes of sparking meaningful conversations. On a whim, she also decided to reach out to Clara, the insightful woman from the launch event who had challenged her thinking. They exchanged messages, and soon Arya invited Clara to collaborate on a piece addressing the ethical implications of echo technology. "That sounds great," Clara responded, enthusiasm pulsing through her words. "The more voices we can gather, the stronger our message becomes. Let's raise awareness." They began meeting regularly, fueled by shared passion and determination. Clara introduced Arya to activists and experts in technology ethics, further expanding her network. They cultivated a burgeoning community built on solidarity, navigating a complex landscape together, a daring proposition. Meanwhile, the anticipation for Arya's upcoming session grew. During a brainstorming session with Clara, Arya had a bold idea. Why not turn their experiences into a documentary? It could showcase both their perspectives and the stories of others navigating similar challenges with echo technology. What if we document people's experiences with echo while they share their hopes and fears? We can use it as a platform to convey the important stories that need to be heard, Arya proposed, her excitement bubbling over. Clara's eyes sparked with inspiration. Yes, we can feature testimonials while revealing the complexity of memory and the need for ethical considerations. With renewed purpose, they rallied their growing community and organized filming sessions, capturing authentic experiences. The documentary project bloomed into something more than simple storytelling. It became a movement of truth and reckoning, the decision to dive deeper. The day of her next session arrived, and as Arya stepped into the pod once more, she felt a mix of excitement and trepidation. She had explored fragments of the past and engaged in conversations that yielded clarity, yet there remained unanswered questions. The voice floated in her consciousness, guiding her deeper. What memory do you wish to explore today? This time, Arya focused on a memory linked to Lila's last few days at home. She wanted to understand the emotions beneath the surface, to unveil the concerns Lila had expressed before life took a sudden turn. As the familiar environment faded to life around her, she stood in the family living room, the scent of fresh cookies wafting through the air. It was a Saturday afternoon, one filled with laughter, warmth, and familiarity. Unraveling the threads, younger Arya and Lila sat on the couch, eyes glued to the screen, exchanging playful banter while watching their favorite movie. Lila turned and met Arya's gaze, a spark of mischief in her eyes. "What if we actually had a grand adventure, like in the movies?" "Let's do it then," Arya replied excitedly. "Let's make our own stories." But then, in the midst of their laughter, Arya noticed a shadow flicker across Lila's face, a moment of serious contemplation. Sometimes, it's not safe to chase after dreams. What if something happens? What if the world's changes force us to pick sides, to make hard choices? "You're just being dramatic," younger Arya giggled, brushing off her sister's concerns. "We're invincible." But as the memory played on, the unease settled deeper in Arya's chest. The scene began to blur again, transforming into an even darker place, an echo of Lila's fears, something buried deep within her. Arya felt herself being pulled back into the present, awareness of the potent truths lingering just beyond reach. "Lila," she murmured, the name heavy on her tongue. "What were you truly afraid of?" Awakening to truth, with her eyes now open, Arya remained in the pod, shaken. "What happened to us?" she whispered, grappling with the fragments of clarity she had unearthed. At that moment, a profound awareness washed over her. This journey was only just beginning. She would need to confront not only her memories, but also the truths that lingered in the shadows, those unspoken fears that had governed Lila's life. The path toward understanding would demand her courage, but more importantly, it would require her to honor Lila's legacy by seeking the truth. With newfound resolve, Arya stepped out of the pod once more, ready to take a leap of faith into the unknown, bolstered by the knowledge that she was not alone. The journey to uncover the truth about her sister and the implications of Echo was merely at the starting line, and she was determined to see it through. Each step forward would intertwine her reality with a future she was eager to shape. As Arya stepped out of the pod, the weight of her experiences lingered in her mind. The thrill of rediscovering Lila intertwined with the heaviness of unresolved questions and emotions. Each memory relived brought her closer to the truth, yet left her grappling with the shadows they cast. That evening, Arya sat in her dimly lit apartment, the glow of her laptop illuminating the pages of her journal. The words poured out as she wrote, recounting her recent session, trying to make sense of the emotions that clung to her like morning fog. Each entry was a tribute to Lila, yet also a stone in her path, a reminder of the deeper conflict yet to be explored. Amid the chaos of memories, a singular thought haunted her. What truly happened to Lila? Each session in Echo seemed to graze the surface, but never penetrated deep enough. Determined to confront the memories and emotions head-on, Arya decided on a new approach. Instead of focusing solely on reliving moments of joy, she would seek to explore the darker fragments, the moments that hinted at fear, uncertainty, and perhaps answers about Lila's disappearance. Emotional preparation. The following day saw Arya in the tech facility once more, her mind brimming with determination. During the orientation session for her upcoming visit, she lingered by the information boards, absorbing every detail about how Echo could handle complex emotional depths. As she stepped into her next session, she felt a surge of nerves. "Today, I want to confront the fears," Arya instructed the attendant. "Very well. This time, I encourage you to focus on those emotions and be aware that what you uncover may not always be easy to process," the attendant cautioned. "Take your time and don't rush." As the neural interface enveloped her once more, Arya inhaled deeply, centering herself. "I'm ready," she whispered, forcing herself into a state of stillness. In moments, the world around her dissolved, and she found herself again in the backyard of her childhood home, vibrant yet layered with an unspoken tension. The sun hung low in the sky, casting long shadows over grass, and it felt like a memory suspended in time. Eerie echoes. Younger Arya and Lila stood together at the foot of the tree, its branches stretching toward the sky like fingers grasping for something beyond reach. Today, however, the air felt heavy. "Let's play our outdoor adventure game," younger Arya said, struggling to maintain a cheerful demeanor. Buried within her excitement lay an unacknowledged awareness of her sister's restlessness. "Okay, but let's stay close to home," Lila replied, her voice almost a whisper. "I don't want to wander too far today." Arya's brow furrowed. "Why not? We can be explorers. We got the whole world to see." But Lila simply shook her head, a ghost of a smile playing across her lips. Yet there was something deeper, a fear carved into her expression. As they climbed the tree, Arya felt a similar unease tugging at her heart. The world around them shimmered, and a familiar laughter began to fade as Lila's expression shifted. "You know, sometimes I wish we could just escape. What if something out there changes us? What if it changes everything?" Lila said, her voice trembling. Arya froze, uncertainty pooling in her stomach. "What do you mean?" "Nothing will change if we don't let it." But Lila's gaze turned serious, her eyes distant as if she could see something lurking beyond the horizon of their childhood dreams. "I don't want us to forget each other," she whispered. "Promise me you'll always remember who I am." As younger Arya's heart ached at Lila's plea, The scene dimmed, shifting to a strange amalgamation of memories. Flashes of Lila looking withdrawn, concerned glances exchanged, whispered conversations avoided. Tendrils of darkness crept in as if the memory was haunted by secrets too profound to vocalize. It was then that Arya felt the pull, an emotional gravity that threatened to swallow her whole. "No, don't go," she cried, desperation rising in her voice. The truth unravels. Suddenly, the memory shattered, revealing a series of haunting images juxtaposed like broken mirrors. Fragmented moments lost in time. Flashes of Lila hidden beneath a pile of papers, murmurs of their watching us, and shadowy figures lurking at the edges of the frame ignited a sense of urgency deep within Arya. The darkness enveloped her, echoes of their childhood alive with anxiety and foreboding. "What were you afraid of, Lila?" she wailed, but the shadows around her remained unyielding. In the chaos, Lila's voice resurfaced, a haunting whisper that slipped through the cracks. "No matter what happens, promise me you'll stay brave. Promise me you'll find the truth." Arya felt herself yanked back again. In a whirlwind of emotions, she burst out of the pod, gasping for breath, heart racing. "You weren't just worried about me, were you?" she murmured. "You were scared of something much larger." Gathering strength, back in the facility, Arya stayed there for a moment longer, catching her breath. The vision she encountered began to make sense. Lila had seen something, understood a threat that Arya had been blissfully unaware of. As she stepped out of the pod, a steely resolve formed within her. Arya knew that to truly understand what had happened to Lila, she would need to confront those shadows, address the fears that had plagued her sister. Arya immediately sought out the contacts she had connected with from the support group, individuals who had also experienced unsettling emotions in relation to Echo. Each session with the group offered insights into the fears surrounding technology, the desire to escape uncomfortable truths, and the longing to reclaim their narratives. "I can't shake the feeling that we're being misled," one participant shared during their next meeting. "What we perceive isn't the whole truth. It can be twisted with this technology." Finding connections. With the echoes of their conversations resonating in her mind, Arya began to organize meetings, inviting experts in ethics and technology to share perspectives on the impact of Echo. She tapped into a network of individuals concerned about the implications of memory manipulation, gathering insightful contributions from diverse voices. One of the hardest things about technology is understanding that it's always a double-edged sword. Clara reminded her during their conversations. We must engage critically with its potential, not just passively accept whatever appears beneficial. Motivated by her findings and experiences, Arya felt emboldened to create a platform for awareness, linking personal stories from the community with expert testimonies. She envisioned a digital documentary that would highlight both the emotional and ethical implications of Echo, merging the personal and the analytical, a commitment to honor her sister. The day finally felt ripe for action. Arya gathered her coalition, rallying everyone together at their workspace to discuss the documentary project. "We need to highlight our truths to ensure Lila's story doesn't fade into obscurity along with the memory of those hurt by this technology," she urged. Everyone showed enthusiasm. The group brainstormed ideas, focusing on personal stories paired with factual analysis and testimonials from experts within technology ethics. As they worked, Arya felt a sense of hope and purpose emanate throughout the room, a shared commitment to championing a narrative built on truth and accountability. In the days leading to the first filming session, she put together an outline, collecting testimonials and expert insights, intertwining personal stories and emotional depths into a cohesive narrative that honored her sister's legacy. Together, they aimed not only to shine a light on the technology, but to wrestle with the moral responsibilities tied to it, creating awareness of the struggles entwined with the powerful presence of memory. The first step into the light. Arya stood before the camera at the start of their first filming session. She took a deep breath, poised to share not only her journey with Echo, but a celebration of Lila's essence, a reminder that memories, while shadowed by fear, held the power to illuminate the path forward. "Today, we'll embark on a journey toward reclaiming our truths," she began, sincerity radiating through her voice. "In our exploration, we find strength, and through the acknowledgement of our shared struggles, we honor the legacies of those we've lost." As she spoke, The camera captured every ounce of emotion flowing through her. Memories of laughter danced alongside shadows of grief, merging in a beautiful tapestry of hope and truth. Arya felt alive amidst the challenges ahead. What lay before her was no longer just a journey into Echo. It was a path toward understanding, healing, and ultimately illuminating the stories buried beneath the surface.